Hi friends, it's Laura with Laura B Floss Tube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. A little bit different of a video today. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about organization. Now this is actually included in one of my longer videos on just getting organized for an applique quilt that Holt typically hosts on her blog. But this one I'm going to focus on just the Sew Simple shapes. So she has another sew along coming up. You may have heard how to build a scarecrow. I want to say snowman every single time, that silly song. But it's how to build a scarecrow, and it is it's with our Sew Simple Shapes set R. So there have been quite a few sets of these already, and believe it or not, I have every single set. And it becomes a little bit of a chore to keep those organized and easy to find, and in a way that you can, use them well. So I just want to share with you how I get ready for a single sew along, and then show you how I store them and how I kind of keep track of all of those Sew Simple shapes, because it's not that simple. Now, getting organized with one set is simple. Keeping track of all of them gets a little overwhelming. So what we're going to do, and I have not done any of this yet, we are going to open the bag of Sew Simple shapes. Now for set R, there are 63 templates, and I like being able to find them quickly and easily when I am tracing them for my interfacing, or when I need them for a size reference on my quilt pieces that I'm going to be cutting out. So here's the few supplies that I'm going to be showing you today. First of all, I do have the Sew Simple shapes. Doesn't matter which set you have. Same process for any set. So Sew Simple shapes. I do have a pencil, just in case. I have a great big library ring, and this is one of the split rings that you can get at any office supply store. I ordered mine on Amazon just because it's cheaper and easier. So a library ring. I also have, this is actually a scrapbooking tool. It's a We Are Memory Keepers Crop-A-Dial. So a heavy duty paper punch or hole punch. I also have a really nice clear plastic Velcro closure of an envelope. And last but not least, I have a great big binder. Now I use a 3-inch binder. This binder, I want to tell you, is full, and I think I'm going to redo the label because I just had to order myself some more binders because I'm out and I need another one for the next sets coming up. So I'm going to show you what I do with my binder, but I can't actually put these in it today because it's not going to be here till Monday. Shoot! But anyway, this is the last piece of the puzzle. All right. So let's get our package open, let's get sorting, and let's figure out how to get these Sew Simple shapes organized. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is open my package. And I try to be a little careful with the cardboard when I open it, just because I am going to use that for something. So we'll say that to the side. Get these staples out because I do not like getting a staple on my finger. I don't think anyone does. That would not feel good at all. I definitely don't want it in my foot later either. So those are the things that I try to avoid. And let's slide all of these shapes out of here. Now this is a little overwhelming for me because I'm just like, whoo, we have 63 shapes. How am I going to get these possibly organized into numerical order? So the first thing I do is I clear my space a little bit, and you just start going through them. I have an R30, so that's going to be pile 3, an R19, and I'm just going to keep going through this pile, looking for the numbers, and putting them in a pile that makes sense. So I have my 0 through 9, or 1 through 9, my 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s that go here, 50s, and 60s, and that's all I'm going to worry about right now. This is great. If you have a little one around that you can trust not to lose any of your Sew Simple shapes, this would be a great project for them, because it's good. If they're learning their numbers, they can learn, what goes where, and, it gives them something to do. But hey, if you're like me, this isn't quite like the worst thing that I have to do with crafting. And it's kind of, it can be fun. I'm going to keep sorting. And then when I get all these sorted, we'll go to the next step. Now you might be wondering, why would you spend the time sorting all of these shapes? Well, let me tell you something. I've had several people tell me that they have gotten their So Simple shapes and they were missing one out of the set. And they didn't know until they had searched and searched and searched and torn their room apart, and they couldn't find it anywhere. And you know, when that happens, you are going to be missing a piece from a quilt that you're making. So one of the reasons I like going ahead and sorting is to make sure I have every simple shape that's in the bag. And if you are missing one, you can contact Riley Blake and they will send you that shape. So just keep that in mind when you are getting your So Simple shapes. If you are missing one, you can contact them to have it replaced. And this is a good way to make sure that you aren't missing any. Now, right now, all of my So Simple shapes are just in number piles. They're not in like numerical order. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one pile, and you'll notice that some of these were a little bigger than they covered up my piles. Now I'm going to take this pile, I'm going to put it in order. So there's a 5 and a 6, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all of those are there. The next thing I'm going to do is take my Crop-A-Dile. And I just do one set of these at a time. I don't try to do more than one set at a time. And I'm just going to pick a spot on the shape that makes sense to punch a hole. And then this is going to go onto my ring. Only 62 more to go. This is going to be interesting to me because I have never actually timed how long it takes to do this. I do know it saves me a lot of time later on, so it's worth it. This is just one method. I'm sure, I mean, you know, everyone has their own way of organizing things, and some people are just fine with not having them in numerical order or not together on a ring or anything, and that's fine too. You do you. All right, let's take our next set. And these should be 10 through 19. So here's 10, 11. Ooh, looks like we got some circles this time. Gonna get in some circle applique practice. All right, so there's, all of those are there. I am gonna line these up a little bit and punch through multiple layers. Now when it comes to these big shapes like this, I like to put the hole in the corner because then they can kind of swing down and around. They're easier to fit in the pocket. Now, and I also say that some of these may be too big for the envelope, but until I'm done with them, I don't store them in that envelope. I keep them in my project tote. So everybody gets a hole punched. I might be missing one. I never want to say that I am until the very end, just in case I sorted wrong. That's why I said I never want to say it's missing. Okay, we're going to close this ring up. And we're going to flip back to where 25 is supposed to go. Okay, so the last thing I like to do, and this is really just for organizing and stuff, is I like to take this and put a hole in the end of it. And stick that right on the front. So here's my ring of So Simple Shapes for how to build a scarecrow. This is set R. There are 63 So Simple Shapes, just as we discussed earlier. So they are on the library ring and ready. So when my kit arrives early next week, I will be able to look at the cutting guide and figure out what I need. Actually, I can download the cutting guide on the Roddy Blake website, and I could go ahead and start tracing all my interfacing before my kit arrives. And that way it'll be ready when it gets here. And I might actually do that. Who knows how the day may progress. So I'll put these inside my project tote with my fabrics and with my kits that I start kitting up for the quilt. And that's where they will reside until I am done making the quilt. Now, after that quilt is done, what I like to do is I have these nice envelopes. I got these on Amazon as well. They have a Velcro closure, and they will fit in here nicely. It's a 3-ring envelope. Now, like I said, sometimes, especially some of the latest quilts that she's done, some of the shapes are too big for the folder. Let me see if that's the case on this one. Let me swing this around. There we go. Now everybody's in there happy. All right, so everybody's in there happy. And I leave these rings on there. So then I Velcro that shut, and it will go into my binder. Now, in my binder, what I do, I need to decorate the front of this, don't I? It's so boring, but it is what it is. In my binder, what I do, let me swing you down a little bit. I have the envelope with the So Simple Shapes. And this is for the chicken salad. I don't have the cutting guide for that one, I guess. And then the next thing I do is if I have a nice printed cutting guide, usually that's when I order a kit from Fat Quarter Shop. They give you that really nice printed guide. I'll go ahead and keep that and then put it in here in front of the So Simple Shape, because that way I'll see, oh, this is what I used that for. And the So Simple Shapes are behind there. And these envelopes, they are already punched for your 3-ring binder. So you can just put them in there with your So Simple Shapes and then just put all of your cutting guides and your shapes in the binder. Now, I have 3 of these binders so far, and I'm going to start a 4th, and I'm probably going to take out set Q from this one and put it into the next binder, just because this is getting a little wide, and I'd like it to be a little, like, you know, not as angled as much. See how that gets kind of angled? Yeah. So I'm probably going to redo this spine label and move Q to the next binder. And then the other thing I do on the spine of the binder is I put what's in there. So it's So Simple Shapes right now, M through Q. And then I put down in little font what quilts were made with those. So those are the things that I do to organize my So Simple Shapes. The other thing that I like to do is to keep a shape guide, basically. And I don't keep those with the shapes just because these binders are really big and I want a smaller binder or a smaller reference guide that I can just like kind of flip through real quickly to see the shapes. So let me get that and I'll show you that, and then we will wrap this video up. All right, so here's my Lori Holt binder, and I keep my current project that I'm working on in here, the cutting guide and the instructions for the current quilt that I'm working on, like an applique quilt, or the last quilt I did was the mercantile sampler. So that stuff is in here with any notes that I made. I printed this myself, so I only have a black and white printer, so that's why it's black and white. So all of that information is in there in the beginning of my binder. And what I do is I put the cutting guide in there, and then I put in everything else that I haven't gotten to yet goes here. And then I keep moving forward like the current week stuff into the back of this, and then it's easy to find each week. But then the next section in this binder is my So Simple Shapes. So these files are from Raleigh Blake's website. A couple of them they have put together into So Simple Shapes, and it's really nice because you can see like what all the shapes look like, and they're color coded and all divided out between the different sets. So you can look through here really quickly and see what shapes are in what, in case you want to come up with your own blocks, or for like the So Simple Shapes Remix and the So Simple Shapes Mini Remix, I believe, were the two sew-alongs where she used multiple sets to make those blocks. So all of those files are in here. And then, since they don't have the ones for the latest So Simple Shapes yet, what I've done was I just took the pages that came from the cutting guide and put those in here. So like for N, you know, I have those in here where if the So Simple Shapes were set in, even though it's not in their file yet, then I still have that for reference for my binder. So I have all of those through Q, and that works out really well for me. That way, if I'm trying to figure out what a shape is or what size to cut for a shape, all of that here, all of that is included here in this section in my binder. So, and then this is the bloom quilt that we worked on together. I just haven't put it back in with the So Simple Shapes yet. So that cutting guide is still kind of hanging out there as well. So that is what I do with my So Simple Shapes to get them organized and ready for any upcoming sew-alongs with Lori Holt. I'm looking forward to building a scarecrow. If you're joining in on that quilt along, let me know. Leave a comment below. Did you order a kit? Are you using your stash? Are you using up scraps? Are you using Lori fabrics? Are you using non-Lori fabrics? Are you doing your own color theme? How are you going to do it? If you were going to do it. So I'd love to know. Be sure to like the video if I've shared any tips and tricks that have helped you. Share it out to your friends. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And I hope that you did find something that helps you, and I hope you're getting organized for the upcoming sew-along. Until next time, happy stitching.